Hello and welcome to what is possibly, nay, probably, the most important trailer reaction we have ever done, and maybe we ever will do,
and maybe ever will do
on this channel. My name is Reid Chrisman. I am joined, as always, by Jonathan Goodisonor. How
Hello,
are you
everybody.
doing?
I am doing very good. I am doing very, very good because today's Spider-Man Day, baby. We got the trailer. It's here.
I'm nervous. I'm like scared and nervous. We were pulling up the trailer. We got the ad out of the way so we'd be ready to go, and the first frame played, and I was like, "Oh God, no, we're not recording." I was terrified.
Yeah.
There are some big things that I think we should be expecting. This is a blind react for both of us, though, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
We've been doing our best to stay off of social media, so that we can go in completely blind. And I think perhaps we should do some predictions as to what will appear in this trailer.
Yes. So for some context for the folks at home, we're recording this one day after this trailer came out.
Yeah.
It has been, I mean, you can see it on the screen there. We're only 24 hours in. It's already got 32 million views. I mean, that's astounding. The hype around the trailer has been immense, almost as big as the hype around the teaser, and we saw how massive that got. Yeah, I mean, I'm blown away that we're here. I mean, it's like we knew that the trailer would arrive at some point, but it doesn't feel real now that it is here. It's so exciting. Yeah, the hype is off the charts right now. As you said, we've had to stay off social media for the last 24 hours because it's just been awash with nonstop discourse about the trailer. Yeah, I mean, in terms of predictions,
who's gonna appear in this trailer? Who do you think is gonna show up?
Okay, so let's talk about what we already established from the teaser, because the teaser, it seems like the teaser actually, relative to what we know now about what this movie is going to be, the teaser actually showed us relatively little. And we saw how much of an event that was. Going into the teaser, we only knew that Dr. Octopus was confirmed. We knew Electro was confirmed. That was about it in terms of confirmed returning baddies. During and since the teaser, we've had Green Goblin confirmed. It seems like now we have Sandman confirmed. The Lizard is coming back. Just about everybody is making a reappearance. Do I predict that we will see absolutely all of them in this? No, but we will see more of them. We will see more of them. We will see, I think, more of Green Goblin. I think we will see Sandman, and maybe a little bit of the Lizard.
Which Green Goblin? Just to confirm.
Willem Dafoe. I'm going Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know about anybody else per se. We'll definitely get more of Dr. Octopus. That's a given. I think we'll see Electro for the first time. We didn't really see him in the teaser. We got those lightning bolts very briefly, but I think we'll actually see Jamie Foxx in this.
Yeah.
I certainly hope so. Yeah, I don't think we'll see absolutely everyone, but we will see one or two more of the main baddies. I think another good question to ask is, will any of the previous Tom Holland villains make a reappearance in this? Because as we know, the Vulture is still out there. I'm still a firm believer that Mysterio did not die at the end of Far From Home. I mean, I think we've said it for the longest time. The seeds are being planted now for a Sinister Six. Do you think that some of them will start to factor into this as well?
Not in this movie. Maybe in a post-credit scene for this movie, but not in this movie. Certainly not in this trailer. I don't think we're going to see... If we see Mysterio, it's going to be in that clip that he submitted at the end of the previous movie. And that is it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. We'll see that.
Okay.
I think we will see a shot of um, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin on a glider.
Mm.
I think here's my main prediction. Um, I think the trailer will end on a shot that has the 3 Spider-Men together in some scenario.
They're going all the way with it?
I think they will go all the way with it.
Mm.
If not, they will at least show the face of either Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield for the last scene of this trailer. That is my prediction.
I hope you're right. I'm not sure if they're gonna. I've been very consistent on this, that I believe that we will not see any of the previous Spider-Men until the movie actually comes out. They won't be foreshadowing that in any posters, any teasers, any trailers, any promotional footage of any kind. That's going to be a big reveal for the movie's release itself. I've been consistent on that from the beginning. I definitely think that given everything we've learned since the teaser, it's more likely now that they will just do what you said and go all the way with it and show them in this. But I don't know. A part of me still really believes that's going to be a surprise for the movie. So here's my difference from you. I don't know if we'll see them, but maybe we'll get like a voice line, like a disembodied voice in the background. Maybe that's going to be Toby.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
You know,
I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get this.
You know, Toby threatening Tom Holland was gonna do to him if he doesn't fix that damn door. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna. I don't think we're gonna get the lineup shot.
So no visuals, but possible audio line.
Yeah, possible audio line. Because we actually are flipped in terms of our overall prediction for the movie, in that I was the one who said that I think they will be in the movie. They won't be a continuing presence in the MCU, but they will feature in this. You said no, so...
Yeah, I think I have since been proven wrong. It's getting to a point where it's like, no, they are 100% going to be in the next movie.
Yeah, it
will
seems
they stay
that way.
beyond that? I don't think so. But it's all but confirmed that they will be in the next.
Yeah, it seems that way. God, I hope so. God, I hope so. I mean, like I said, I mean, we thought the teaser was an event, but we have 3 minutes of footage in this trailer here. And, I mean, again, I already mentioned it. Just 24 hours, already 32 million views on this one channel. Obviously, it's been republished on many others. This trailer seems to really be breaking the internet. And, God, I mean, I'm so excited. It doesn't feel real to be here, honestly. Like, this is, like you said, we may never do a more significant trailer reaction than this, which we should mention. This trailer reaction is actually our Thanksgiving special. It's so prominent and it's so special that we are doing a observation reactions holiday special. That's how big this is. So yeah, there you go, folks. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. I'm sure all of you out there are currently splayed out on your couches recovering from your tryptophan comas. And just come hang out with us for an hour or two as we talk about Spider-Man. So happy holidays.
All right, I got one last prediction question for you. This is a bit of a fun one. How many suits will appear in this trailer?
Okay, so
how many Spider-Man suits?
We know that there's going to be at least, I think I'm safe in saying at least 3, because you're going to have his Far From Home suit that he designed. You're going to have the Iron Spider suit, and we know he's going to have a black and gold Doctor Strange magic-infused suit. So at least 3. But there could be more. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go Price is Right rules and say that you lose if you go over. So I'm gonna play it safe and just stick with the 3.
Okay.
But I would not be surprised if you saw maybe 4. 5 seems like a lot, but I could see 4. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna predict 3.
The number that's sitting in my gut right now is 4.
Hmm.
But you know, if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield do show up, that is 2 more Spider-Man suits.
You're talking
that show
cumulative
up.
Spider-Man
Yeah,
suits. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I think between 4 and 6. 6 being the
okay.
maximum.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because
But
if you think about it,
if we're going Price is Right rules, I'll just go with 4. I'll do 1 more than you.
Gotcha. Yeah, because that's actually very interesting. Because if we are going cumulative Spider-Man, you could have a situation. I could see a situation where you actually have 8 because you have Tom Holland's 3 to 4 plus the original universe suits of the other Spider-Men, and then their suits once they're transported into the MCU, which might be different. So that would be 2 suits each plus Tom Holland's 3 or 4. Now you're talking about 7 or 8 different Spider-Man suits.
That is a lot of action figures.
Yes, a lot of money. And as we've discussed, Disney gets to keep all of that, baby. We got the toy revenue.
That is toy revenue is where it's at. That's where they get all of their Spider-Man money.
There you go. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. In terms of other predictions, that we covered the Spider-Man, we covered the villains. Oh, one last important thing, and this is a big question that we had coming out of the teaser. Is Doctor Strange, is he on the up and up? Do we think that he's a rational figure who's truthfully representing his intentions? Because that was a big question that everyone had coming out of the teaser. Is there something more going on with Doctor Strange? Is he really who he says he is, or doing what he says he wants to do?
If there is something sinister beneath the surface, we will not see that until the final movie. That is my prediction.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with your sentiment. I'm definitely sympathetic, or I've gotten more sympathetic to the argument that, based on what little we saw from the teaser, Doctor Strange, his decision making seems a little off, in helping Peter Parker with this problem. Which, I mean, you understand why Peter Parker is invested in this problem. Obviously it's ruined his life having his identity be out into the world. But for Doctor Strange to so drastically tamper with the fabric of reality, the same reality that he's sworn to protect, just to make this one teenager's life easier, a teenager that he spent like 20 minutes with across Infinity War and Endgame, that doesn't seem like him at all. And so it's not clear why he would be doing something so drastic. I've heard speculation that maybe Doctor Strange isn't even Doctor Strange. Maybe it's somebody else who's impersonating Doctor Strange. Obviously, Mephisto is always elicits laughs, but I'm just saying it wouldn't be. I'm just saying keep an open mind. But assuming it is Doctor Strange, right? Assuming it is, there's something going on here. It really seems to me there's something going on here, and as we know, the events of this movie will lead directly into the Multiverse of Madness.
Has that been confirmed?
Oh yeah. The 2 storylines are linked, and so it seems to me that Doctor Strange. So here's what I'll do. I'll be conservative and I'll just say that Doctor Strange's motivations for helping Peter Parker are not pure altruism. He has some other interest here that he's trying to further by essentially he's using the cover of helping Peter Parker as a justification to do enact some other greater plan, which will play into the Multiverse of Madness. How or why, I agree. I don't think we'll know until the movie, but I could see that being hinted at here a little bit more. But yeah, that's one thing that I'm going to be really looking for, is maybe more than anything else in terms of looking for hints and clues, is Doctor Strange's demeanor and and what he says. So, all right.
Yeah.
Should we
I think we
pull
should.
the trigger?
Yeah.
Should we enter the Spider-Verse? All right. All right. Can you see? Can you see that? All right.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right. In 10, 9, 8, 7.
Ah, fuck you. Let's go.
Pause it.
Ever since I got bit.
That was already so much.
Yeah,
Can you restart it? Can you restart? We'll do frame by frame later. I just want to see the first.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man, we started getting some visitors. From every universe. Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know, all this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
Oh my God.
Take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all
My
my
God.
fault. I can't save everyone. What's happening?
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th. Spider Monday.
Oh, that's why there was the PlayStation 4 ad at the end
Yes.
of the previous one.
How could we forget? We forgot to make our prediction for what the PS4 hat is gonna be.
They have to get in shape really
All right,
fast
what
for
is
a
what is
movie.
this? What is this? You gotta.
We completely forgot to make a prediction for what is the PS4 ad gonna be.
Okay, so
But
We-
see, this PS4 ad makes sense. You know?
yeah,
we'll talk
this one,
about
this
it,
one
but-
makes sense. Okay, so we do see Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, Doctor Octopus.
Lizard.
I don't think we see Lizard in this. I didn't see.
Yeah,
Lizard in this.
we saw him jumping out at the end.
Can't save everyone.
There he is.
Oh, I thought that was Peter, but no. Yeah, he's on the left there. Okay, so yeah, we see Lizard too. So that's all of them.
And I mean, call me crazy, but I feel like there were some moments here. See if I can find one. Let me see.
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Okay, I'll mention it if I see it. But there's someone else I thought I saw for a moment
Okay.
there. But all right, first impressions.
Whoa.
You know, I
Wowzers.
I have to confess, you don't see it on here because I'm in a different browser, but this is the rare trailer where I actually liked the video before I ever even watched it. Like, I liked the video yesterday when it came out. I didn't even need to watch it before I gave it a like. Like, it's like this being awesome was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, we already knew that, but I have to say, you know, once again, the teaser, there was so much hype building up to it, so much that to the point where anything they put out, it seemed like was destined to be at least slightly disappointing compared to what the fans built up in their heads, and it met those expectations.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same thing with this. I feel like the hype was huge to the point where almost anything they did would not have been perhaps as good as what people were thinking about in their heads. But once again, they met expectations, which, I mean, is the highest praise I could possibly give it because the expectations were huge.
Honestly, based on this trailer alone, I feel like they could have a very successful movie without Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm actually, based on this trailer, I don't know if they're in this.
Yeah,
I
mean,
didn't see any spots where they would like fit in.
Yeah, well, I mean, even with how, because we saw a lot more in this, of course, than we saw in the teaser.
Yeah.
I think there's still obviously a lot more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Beyond even this, where they could pop up. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. This movie does not need Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire. It never did need them. They were always just, wouldn't it be so cool if they were in this? But this movie never needed them to be a smash hit and incredible, you know, and just kind of this groundbreaking introduction to a live-action Spider-Verse. You know, you never really needed them for that, but they were always such a nice-to-have thing where it's like, well, wouldn't it be good if, wouldn't it be good if, wouldn't it be good if, to the point where now it's like, well, they have to be in it because how could you not? But they never needed to be in here for this to be an amazing movie. And this trailer has only really fortified that belief for me. So, yeah, outstanding. One of the best trailers I've seen this year. But honestly, I think for the moment, the heavyweight for me is still that Batman trailer. Like, that for me is still my gold standard. Seriously, you know, for 2021 trailers, that's the one that I think is my gold standard. You know, this is great. It's right up there with the teaser, which is that close number 2 spot. But that Batman trailer, I think, is still my best trailer of the year. This is a competitive runner-up.
I think Batman is my favorite trailer aesthetically, but in terms of hype, this has to take the cake for me. This has to take the cake. There is so much in this.
I will also give, speaking of trailers, I will also give an honorable mention to the Loki trailer. That one got me very hyped. But yeah, for me, it's gonna be the Batman, then the Spider-Man No Way Home teaser, then this, then Loki, and then I don't know. We got really hyped for Battlefield 2042. You know, no, seriously, like that trailer. That's a great trailer. Right now, you know, the game just came out. It's been a rocky start, but yeah, the trailer was great.
Yeah, but I think we should We should go scene by scene on this.
Yeah,
There is a lot to break down.
Yeah, we have to get in. We have to get into this. So. All right. So already, before we even get to the title card. Okay, so.
So the red, that.
Are you saying what I think I'm seeing here? Have a look at this person.
Is that the Amazing Spider-Man? Green Goblin 2?
That's what I was saying. This
Are there
is
gonna
not,
be 2 Green Goblins in this movie?
This is not Willem Dafoe Green Goblin. This is Dane DeHaan Green Goblin from the Amazing Spider-Man series. That's what I'm saying. This is who I thought I saw.
Or is it
James Franco?
James Franco.
Maybe. Could be James Franco.
I don't think it is though. Well, I mean,
but his glider is more Amazing Spider-Man. So I think this is Dane DeHaan.
Yeah.
That's my guess. So that was the thing I was looking for earlier. I think that yes, this tells me 2 Green Goblins. We thought we didn't even know we were getting 1, and now I think we're getting 2. Like, let's just ruminate on that for a moment. So, and we are 2 seconds into the trailer.
fuck.
And also, 3 seconds into the trailer, we get our first proper look at the return of Jamie Foxx's Electro.
This version looks so much better.
Yeah, they ditched the blue. They're going with the more comic accurate green and yellow. Looks a lot better. Looks a lot better.
That's the thing I'm curious about, is that they are changing the aesthetic of some of these characters. So who's to say they really are from those specific universes with those specific actors?
Well,
you know?
Well, I feel like they kind of covered themselves with Venom Let There Be Carnage, because as we saw in that mid-credit scene, when Venom got ported over into the MCU universe, the aesthetics of his whole hotel room changed.
Yeah,
everything around
they
him
get
changed.
like MCU-ified.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So when they're brought into the MCU universe, their appearances are liable to shift, not dramatically, but noticeably.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of how they covered themselves a little bit with that.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
We didn't see that part at the end of Far From Home.
No, that's gonna be from the beginning of this. When
yeah.
they're like, all the billboards change, helicopters show up, and then Peter has to like try to flee with MJ.
Yeah.
And they escape into the tunnels, which is certainly dangerous, as you can see.
Like, honestly, like, when you really think about it, it's so obvious why MJ was terrified going on that little swing through Manhattan at the end of Far From Home. Like, it's so fucking scary. Like, to be doing this, like, free running and jumping off of skyscrapers.
And then you do it in front of an oncoming train.
I mean, honestly,
my
like,
God.
it's shockingly reckless. But hey.
That was when you found out.
So they get away somehow.
You botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget.
Okay, so here's the next thing. Doctor Strange says you botched that spell. He's blaming the botched spell on Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. Again, I mean, yeah, we saw in the teaser, Peter, when they're doing the whole spell, they're saying, MJ should remember, and also Aunt May should remember, and Ned's my best friend, he should remember. And that's kind of what botched the spell. But, I mean, Doctor Strange, you don't get to absolve yourself of all liability here just because Peter Parker had some errant thoughts that he said out loud while you were doing all the magic. Like, you still did that, you know?
Yeah, but Doctor Strange is also kind of a pompous ass. I mean, that's
Yeah.
part of his character. He's pretty egotistical.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, you again. This is kind of what plays into what I'm saying about Doctor Strange isn't quite Doctor Strange, because he is a pompous ass. But especially after the events of Infinity War and Endgame, and going into the Multiverse of Madness, you would think that he would be able to step back and view the bigger picture. You know, it's much bigger than just this teenager and what's going on in his life. So I just think it's interesting that in this moment he's laying all of the blame at Peter Parker for the fact that the spell went wrong.
And MJ even calls him out on that.
Yeah.
And like the one thing that makes me think that this might not be Doctor Strange, or that Doctor Strange is like under some kind of exterior influence, is that he doesn't help Peter fight or capture these guys. He's just like, hey, Peter, you do it. Which
in fact,
is not something he would do unless there's some kind of like, oh, there are cracks forming. I have to go take care of these. You round up the bad guys. And then I can understand. We'll just have to see on that.
And it's not even that. It's even more than that, because as we see, when Peter Parker tries to take the multiverse trapper keeper, I guess is what we'll call it, and to use them to go capture these multiverse villains, Doctor Strange stops him. He does the astral projection thing on his body, so he's trying to actively stop Spider-Man from intervening in these events. So interesting.
Peter Parker's Spider-Man. We started getting some visitors. From every universe.
Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker.
So, for a moment, Dr. Octopus recognizes this Spider-Man as Peter Parker, but obviously when the mask goes off, he sees it's Tom Holland. It's not his Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I will come back to this. But there is, he gets pinned against the wall. And then another arm is coming for him. And he chooses to take the mask off using the nanobots. He chooses to reveal himself to Dr. Octopus, who then discovers that this isn't his Peter. I have a theory about that. We will talk about what we think the plot synopsis of this movie is later.
Yes. Yeah, we'll circle back.
You're not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
So, like you said, we'll discuss the full plot synopsis, but it seems like, from what we see here, Dr. Octopus is probably the first villain they encounter, and he's the first one they capture. And so that's how they're having this kind of tete-a-tete at the moment.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
I like how the arms also like look over at them like, is this what series?
So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
All this is kind of your.
Send them back.
Got Electro doing something in the background here.
Charging up, and then he's doing some magic thing. Ready to.
Scooby-Doo this crap.
All this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Good point.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight. You're flying out.
Of course, J.K. Simmons coming back as J. Jonah Jameson. That's just, that's just.
You have to.
That's
You have
always,
to. Yeah.
That's always points in favor. That's always points in favor.
To fight ghosts.
So this is what we're saying. Peter Parker is. I'm sorry, kid. So Peter Parker is asking Doctor Strange for something, trying to get something from him. Doctor Strange is turning him down. And that's when he goes for the multiverse Trapper Keeper. And Strange clearly is not having that.
Yeah.
So there's something more going on here.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
So this is interesting. I guess that's the MCUification, but it seems like earlier when he first emerges, his arms are silver, and now they have like this red armor coating, which I think is new.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't.
Like they're just silver, and now they have like this red armor.
Yeah, well, here's what I'm thinking for this.
I know two of his arms are like heavier and more armored, and two of them are lighter and more nimble. But they do look different to me.
Well, here's what I'm wondering. We know that the Iron Spider suit, which we know Spider-Man is wearing in his first confrontation with Dr. Octopus, is the Stark nanotech. Do you think that this is maybe some of that same nanotech being incorporated into Dr. Octopus's arms?
Either that, or like the nanotech is trying to take over the arms and disable them.
Maybe.
Could be that. That could be interesting.
Universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling.
So that's the voice of...
Wait, go back.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter,
Pause. Okay, never mind. He's still just holding the box. I thought he was holding something else. All right.
And also, as this is happening, this is the voice of Willem Dafoe. So
Yeah.
have everything you want while the world,
there's so here's this other goblin again.
while the world
That's not Willem Dafoe. Two green goblins. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway.
have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
Also, we have to talk about what this structure is. What's going on
That's
here?
the Statue of Liberty.
Make you choose.
Is it being rebuilt?
Or just
Or
there's
repaired?
probably repair work, maintenance work. They do that every once in a while.
But it's not just the statue though, because also there's some sort of magical significance to it. It seems like it's some sort of beacon for...
Well, there is some kind of magical explosion happening there, but based on all of this footage, we know that there is some kind of big final battle on the Statue of Liberty. I think that's just the conclusion of that.
I can't save everyone.
I mean, this is just so fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about Marvel perfect shots. Here it is. Here's a Marvel perfect shot for you.
So we got Electro, Sandman, Lizard.
It
Doc
seems
Ock,
like, yeah, Dr. Octopus,
Green Goblin,
two Green Goblins,
and then a Green Goblin number 2 makes the Sinister Six.
Yeah, do duplicates count? I mean, I guess that's a question we have to ask ourselves. We'll have to expand the roster. We'll have to go up to like Sinister 9 or 10 at this point. So, this kind of leans into what I was saying. I don't know what this is. I don't recall the Statue of Liberty having a shield. That must be a new addition.
Oh, maybe it's a Captain America statue that they're building.
Oh, that would be.
Either they converted the Statue of Liberty into a Captain America statue, or they're building a new statue. Yeah, that's definitely the shield, because you can see the star on there.
Yeah, but it's like as if we couldn't just have two big statues.
Yeah.
in the New York Harbor, you know. No, you can only have one statue. You've got to pick the old lady or Steve Rogers.
Yeah, so MJ falls. And then we have the same shot as The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which ends with
the death
of Gwen.
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy. She gets webbed, tries to get pulled back up, but is killed by the whiplash, smacking her head against the ground.
Yeah, probably
Breaking
the
her
most
heart.
memorable moment from that movie, I would say. Probably, in fact, I would say the most memorable moment from the whole Amazing Spider-Man duology.
I think it was also the most hated moment.
It was very controversial.
Yeah.
It was very controversial.
If they kill Zendaya,
No, never gonna happen.
I will walk out. I will walk out of the theater and demand a refund.
You know that I am not in the business of making guarantees when we come to making these theories because anything could happen, but I guarantee you that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Zendaya's MJ will be, well, okay, she will survive. I don't want to say she'll be fine, but she'll survive the events of this movie. I guarantee you that.
She'll only die when she and Tom Holland break up. And then we'll just write her out of the movies.
Yeah, kind of more of a spiritual death. But yeah, very reminiscent. Well, very intentionally reminiscent of that moment from Amazing Spider-Man 2. Which, considering how most of us recall how that scene ends, it does add to the tension.
Yeah.
Okay, so
This is
now with all the scaffolding gone, it is the Statue of Liberty, but she's elevated. You know, it's
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they're doing some work over here. On top of it just being a beacon for the Rift.
Yeah, multiverse is definitely ripping apart there.
Okay, so this is, I think
that's how it ends too.
Yeah, so this is the big what WTF moment from the trailer. Doctor Strange says they're starting to come through, but this appears to be the climax of the movie, or near the climax, not the beginning. So, could Doctor Strange be referring to not them in terms of the multiverse villains, but the multiverse Spider-Man?
No, I think this is literally. I think they're doing like a John Wick situation. Or just how this movie picks up the exact minute that Far From Home leaves off. Multiverse of Madness will pick up the exact minute that this movie ends. It will end with universe ripping apart. And I think Doctor Strange saying they is just him playing the pronoun game with like bad guys from alternate realities coming through.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And that's it.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I can't argue with that. I think that you're right that, again, the events of this movie will lead directly into the Multiverse of Madness. And really, this movie is, obviously it's a massive event in its own right, and it's also setting the table for the full-on multiverse unraveling that we're going to see in Doctor Strange 2. So I do agree with you in that. I think that these events will lead very directly and immediately into Doctor Strange 2.
Beautiful aesthetic, too.
Oh, absolutely.
I like the purple.
Absolutely. And definitely the impression the trailer wants you to get is that Doctor Strange is referring to the multiverse Spider-Man. But, of course, as we've seen so many times with these trailers, as you said, they play the pronoun games, they hint, they tease, but they don't show.
And they also use audio from other clips in the movie, other points in the movie.
Exactly.
And just put it over in front of like a shot of the person. Or they'll play the audio and then cut to a shot of the person in the moment they want you to think that audio is coming from.
Exactly, yeah. To lead you on to think that this thing is happening in this way in this moment of the movie, and of course it's not quite that when you actually see it. So I think that's definitely the impression that the trailer wants you to get. But I do also agree with you in that that seems a little bit too convenient at this point. This is probably, as you said, some trailer audio video cutting trickery to imply that it's the alternate Spider-Man when it's actually referring to something else. That having been said, my belief that the Ultimate Spider-Man will make an appearance in some fashion is not diminished. And honestly, there is a way that they could make an appearance in the movie that we haven't really discussed, which is they could show up in flashbacks to the prior events from the original universes of the villains. That's entirely within the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
So I still think that I still predict they will make an appearance in some form or fashion. Again, I don't think they will be major factors into the story. I don't think they will stick around in the MCU, but I do think they will show up, if only briefly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like if it is just flashbacks, that will leave fans very disappointed.
Mm.
But I also just, based on the plot synopsis that I get from this trailer, I don't really know how the other Spider-Man fit in.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I mean, there's already so much going on that it really is hard to visualize. I mean, how can we fit something?
No, I think I got it. I think I got it.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale.
So, something else I wanted to mention. It's just kind of an interesting thing.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
Went past it, sorry.
This crap.
You know, all this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man.
Yeah, mention that. Doctor Strange is explaining to our Peter, Tom Holland, that it is the predestined fate of all of these villains to die fighting Spider-Man. That's how their story is supposed to end. Obviously interrupted by the fact that they've all been ported into the MCU. I just think that's interesting, you know? There is a definite predetermined endpoint to the lives of all these villains that has now been disrupted because they're here. I just wanted to. I don't really have a theory for that yet. I just wanted to point that out. I think that's really fascinating because it's true. We have seen all of these characters die fighting Spider-Man, and now they're back. And you could understand, you know, why they wouldn't want to go back to their universes because at least here they can get a second chance to do whatever it was they were trying to do. And also why, as we see later on in the trailer,
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
they're teaming up, you know, for the first time really in a meaningful way to make sure that, you know, this time they won't be thwarted by Spider-Man, even if it isn't their Spider-Man.
What's happening?
They're starting.
Think that MJ is going to get a big action moment in this?
Other than falling to her near death,
Yes.
I don't know. It would not surprise me if she did, because it does seem like she and Ned are a lot more involved in this, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That the two of them are actually like following him around, not just because they're, you know, they're there for the final battle. They're there when he goes to Doctor Strange. Like, they're clearly supporting him in some way, which is cool. I like that. So I feel like the movie probably will give them something more to do in one fight or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get, because like you said, I definitely get the impression that the two of them are going to be a lot more involved and in an active capacity, helping out Peter, Spider-Man, throughout the events of this movie, and I could really see it happening. You know, kind of like how Pepper Potts got her own armor in Endgame. I can kind of see a similar type of thing happening here, where she's not going to become super powered, obviously, but I can see her having a couple big moments of her own. That would make a lot of sense.
Like Peter loses his web shooter, or like it falls off his wrist, and then she picks it up and like
exactly
shoots
yeah
someone with it, or
exactly
gives
yeah.
it back to him.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, that's a prediction I'll make right here. I think MJ is going to get a big action moment. I could see that happening. Definitely.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 20th.
Yeah, because the torch is there, which makes me think that it's happening on the Statue of Liberty. But then there's also the giant shield. So maybe they're converting the Statue of Liberty into a Captain America. I don't know.
Which is just hilarious, because again, it's like you're replacing an American, literally the icon of America, with a different icon of America. It's like, just build a second statue. We don't have to choose, you know. But yeah, just on a purely practical note, take note of this date, November 29th. You know, obviously, we both are hugely invested in seeing this movie on opening weekend, or as close to it as possible. Tickets for this movie are going to be insane. Like, you know, if you want to get a good showing on opening weekend, you've got to get your tickets locked down. And not even a good showing, good seats at a good showing on opening weekend. You've got to get your tickets locked down by, let's see, November 29th is a Monday. Yeah, by Tuesday, you have to get that locked down, because by midweek, all the good seats are going to be gone. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
It's definitely going to be a scramble for sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to mark that date on my calendar. I'd recommend you do the same, because got to get that locked in. You know. Yeah.
It's on sale November 29th, Spider Monday.
Okay. PS4 ad time.
Yeah.
The MVP, just like the teaser, PS4 ad. But I have to say, like, the teaser's PS4 ad was so baffling.
Oh, it came out of nowhere.
It was so weird. It didn't make any sense. It was like these off-color DualShock controllers that weren't even Spider-Man colors. They were completely unrelated to Spider-Man, and it was just so strange. This makes sense. Like, okay, you know, Sony, obviously, they own the movie studio. They also own PlayStation and a bunch of game studios. They make the new Spider-Man games. You know, they want you to go see their Spider-Man movie and buy a PS5 and play their Spider-Man games on the PS5 with your DualShock controllers. So, boom, put the Spider-Man PS4, PS5 ad at the end of the trailer. Instant synergy.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So, like, this one isn't baffling. It's still kind of gratuitous, like putting an ad at the end of a trailer, which is itself a form of advertisement. But
it's like, I'm trying to think, what is a it's like an Old Yeller when the dog gets put down. If the farmer immediately turned around and tripped on a rock and face planted, it just completely cuts the tension and the emotional beats of that moment.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh my god, that trailer with Spider-Man PS4."
Oh.
Like it just cuts completely.
And also, I mean, it's just, you know,
like put it at the beginning. Put like, this trailer is sponsored by Spider-Man Miles Morales, available now on PS4. And then go into launch of the trailer, and that works.
Yeah. Honestly, that would work a lot better. And also, I mean, it also is ironic on the level of it's still almost a year. This is what's shocking. A year later, after the Xbox Series X and PS5 came out, they're still virtually impossible to get. Like, you know, the share of people who the total pie chart of everyone who wants a next gen console, I would say you have like the 15% who've actually been able to get one, and then the 85% of people who are willing to get one but have not been able to.
Yeah.
Because it's just they're just impossible to find.
I will say, Xbox Series S. I was able to find that at market price. I don't know if it's still around. I got it a few weeks ago. But yeah, everything else is just.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's going to be harder than ever now with the holidays coming up.
Yeah, well, demand is gonna skyrocket, and supply is gonna continue to stay low because, they're having trouble getting the materials and the chips manufactured to actually produce these consoles.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think that should be the fourth movie. Spider-Man, no way to continue the microchip shortage, the global microchip shortage. Spider-Man, no more microchip shortage. There you go.
Spider-Man, my home screen is still for my last gen console.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I want to get into what we think the plot of this movie is based on the trailer. I want to hear what you think, and then I will present my evidence for what I think will go down.
Okay. Plot synopsis. All right. Well, I mean, my theory for how this movie is going to go down does not really deviate significantly from what we've seen laid out in the teaser and the trailer. Obviously, we know it's going to start right where Far From Home left off. It seems like, well, first Peter goes to Doctor Strange and asks him to create a spell that will cause the entire planet to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. He messes up the spell somehow, and this causes a rift to form, perhaps centered around the Statue of Liberty, and that is what allows several, all of these prior Spider-Man villains to come through. First, they're attacked by Dr. Octopus. That's on the bridge over the Hudson, which we saw a bit more of in the teaser. They have a fight. Dr. Octopus realizes that this is Spider-Man, but it's not his Spider-Man. Even though it seems like Dr. Octopus definitely has the upper hand in this battle, we can see that by the end of it, Spider-Man gets the upper hand and manages to capture him. At this point, they'll learn more about this Dr. Octopus from his universe. And it seems like Dr. Octopus will kind of introduce them to the idea that there are more of these villains coming from the other universe. And that's when Spider-Man and MJ and Ned, the whole gang, will start to be attacked by these various villains who, by the end of the movie, as we can see, are now starting to team up to maintain their position in the MCU and not get banished back to their respective universes. Meanwhile, there's also a conflict, some kind of conflict, we don't know how severe it is, between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange does not want Spider-Man to make off with the multiverse Trapper Keepers for some reason. Clearly they have a difference of philosophy in terms of how to handle the situation. And at some point that leads them to a confrontation in the Grand Canyon. Still not sure how that fits in, but anything's possible. And it's heavily implied that this scene here is going to be, if not the climax, then the near climax of the movie. The showdown with all of the remaining at-large villains. And also, this MJ falling and this purple rift, the significance of that. That's going to be towards the end of the movie. Not the climax, if I had to reckon, but nearby to it. And then mid-credit scene, post-credit scene. Well, mid-credit scene is going to be set up for Doctor Strange 2. Post-credit scene.
Airshim again? I don't know. That is not followed up at all in this trailer.
God, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. It's going to be something crazy and something Spider-Man relevant.
It could be Ant-Man and Kang related. Or Loki
you think it's
related,
going to be
possibly.
You think it's going to be a? Oh yeah, maybe. You could be think it's going to be on the Loki Kang side of things.
It could be. I'm not sure because I just unplugged my headphones.
Oh.
I think it will be because it seems like the multiverse side of stuff is going to connect to the Kang side of stuff. And we know he is going to be the main villain of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah.
He showed up at the end of Loki. Maybe he's the main villain of Doctor Strange 2? Or maybe Doctor Strange that ends with Kang like returning. Maybe that's the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the post-credit scene of this one though. Kind of like how Thanos was the post-credit scene of a lot of movies where it's just Kang like up to his multiverse shenanigans.
Yeah, so you're saying Kang for the post-credit scene?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go ahead and guess Kang.
So
all
here's
of my predictions so far have been wrong, but
so here's my two thoughts for the post-credit scene. Like I said, the mid-credit scene, that's just going to be setting up Doctor Strange 2. I think the post-credit scene is either going to be...
Wait, I take it back. It's not Kang, it's Venom.
Oh, yeah. Shit, I forgot about Venom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Venom is more likely than what I was going to say. I was going to say either it's going to be a Wanda Maximoff tie-in, but that would probably be more of a mid-credits Multiverse of Madness thing, so probably not that. Or in the total opposite direction, I was thinking, hear me out, I could see Spider-Man meeting Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. Now, it's not so crazy because you think about where Miss Marvel's going to be starting out in her series is very much the Spider-Man that we saw from around the Civil War period of time, where she's just going to be the just starting out, low-level neighborhood hero, operating obviously in the same area, same kind of vibe, high school student. I could see, there's kind of a similar thing there. So
here's the thing, though, is that you previously said that the MCU shows, the Disney Plus shows, exist on the periphery and provide information inwards toward the main MCU. The MCU does not reference outwards. And because that's going to be a Miss Marvel, I mean, maybe they're just doing a very early post-credits in relation to the Marvels. But I feel like that would more likely come from like a Captain Marvel 2 type of thing.
Well, Captain Marvel 2 is coming after the Miss Marvel series. So we know that either she's going to pop up in a post-credit scene or we'll just meet her for the first time in her series. And I think that, honestly, like that was the original idea for the Disney Plus shows, that they would be just on the periphery of the movies. And like you said, things that are introduced in that would be then filtered into the movies, but not the other way around. But honestly, I think that after this year, that's kind of starting to change. I think it is cutting both ways now. I really do think that obviously the movies set up the series, but elements of the series, again, I talk about it all the time. WandaVision is pretty much a prelude to the Multiverse of Madness. The series are informing the movies. So I think they actually are cutting both ways. So
yeah.
I don't think it's out of the question to see a post-credit scene that would lead into a Disney Plus series. I think we're, if we're not at that point now, we will be there pretty soon. So that's what I'm going to say for that.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, you mentioned Venom. I think it's going to be Venom.
It's just got to be Venom. Like,
yeah, it's definitely going to be Venom. Yeah, no, yeah, no argument there. So, but what's your synopsis? What are you thinking?
Okay. So my thought is we open up from the exact minute that Far From Home ends with. All the billboards go off. He escapes the cameras, dips into the subway, blah blah blah, gets home. Maybe he's talking to Happy. Happy gets captured. That's where we see his shot with all the SWAT team like pointing the guns at his car. The cops show up outside of Peter's house. They come to arrest him. He's being talked to by the lawyers. None of them are Matt Murdock. None of them are not. None of them are Matt Murdock. He is not in this movie. But he's being talked to by.
Are you officially ruling him out? Are you saying there's no way?
No way.
Okay. Reid's saying no way. I'm saying
Not right now.
I'm saying okay. So that's going to be another point of difference. Reid is saying no way. He's ruling Matt Murdock out. I am in for Matt Murdock. I'm saying that the door is open.
You think he's going to be in this movie?
I am saying the door is open. That's what I'm saying. I stand by that 100%. The door is open.
Let me tell you what they're gonna do. Is they will have a lawyer walk in and say, "Hi, my name is Matthew." That's it. Not even blind yet. If they're gonna do the Matt Murdock route, that's how they're gonna do it. But I don't know. I personally don't think, with all the stuff that's being introduced in this, I doubt it. Yeah, but I don't know how he gets out of that legal trouble. But like, he's having a rough time at school. People hate him for being Spider-Man. Blah blah blah. He goes to Doctor Strange, and it's like, "Hey, can you help me?" And Doctor Strange is like, yeah, sure, whatever. Peter botches the spell, and Doctor Strange is like, "Oh, you fuckhead, you just messed up the spell." Or no, I don't think that's. I think that's what they do the spell, and Doctor Strange contains it, and Peter's like, "Did it work?" And Doctor Strange is like, "I have no idea." And then Peter like runs outside and then links up with MJ and Ned, and they remember who he is, but like no one else seems to. And he's like, and so the three of them return to Doctor Strange, and they're like, "Yes, it worked. Thank you so much." And he's like, "Well, actually, people are leaking in from the older multiverses because you fucked it up. So here is a Trapper Keeper. Go capture them. But don't show your face because they still think you're Spider-Man." So then he goes around. He first encounters Doc Ock. He's about to be defeated, so he shows his face as like a last gambit. And Doc Ock is like, "Wait a second, you're not my Peter." And he like returns voluntarily, or enters the Trapper Keeper voluntarily, or whatever. And yeah, one by one, these villains get released. Peter is running around trying to capture them. And eventually he returns with this full Trapper Keeper. And he hands it back to Doctor Strange. And he asks, what's going to happen with them? And Doctor Strange says, "Oh, they're going to all return to their universes where they are fated to die by the hands of Spider-Man." And Peter's like, "Fuck, I don't want to kill anyone." So he grabs the Trapper Keeper away from Doctor Strange. The two of them fight, and he manages to get away with it, or just break it or something, and lets all of them loose again, hoping he can defeat them without killing them and like save their lives. And that's where we see, because all of them get released at once, they all are kind of there to just team up together. And Peter is like trying to do this grand finale fight. I think he realizes that he can't save them all, and some of them end up dying by his hands anyways. And then the universe breaks apart, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's going to be kind of a double whammy, where he goes after them once, and then Peter himself decides to let them loose because he doesn't want them to die. But then he has to go after them again because he just let all these villains loose.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that, I think that probably the most likely point of divergence from the philosophies between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange is Doctor Strange wants to put everything exactly back the way it was, which means essentially condemning these villains back to their own universes where they're, fated to die. But our Peter, Tom Holland, obviously wants to try to defeat them and neutralize the threat, but as you said, not do it in a non-lethal way. He doesn't want to kill anybody.
Yeah.
Um,
I also,
so-
it would not surprise me if he releases all of them on that statue.
mm.
And that's why they're all there. I don't think that's what happens specifically. I think he just releases them and then they happen to team up and that's where the final battle is. But it could be that is where he ends up with the Trapper Keeper when he's able to release them.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is like the shockwave that we see emanating from the statue.
Well, yeah, that would be fascinating because that would mean that towards the climax of the movie, Peter would obviously not just be in conflict with the villains, but also Doctor Strange potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And also, I think we should discuss the significance of the new suit, the new
Black
No
and
Way
Gold.
Home suit that he has. Yeah. Doctor Strange definitely makes that for him, and imbues it with some degree of power, magical power. We don't see a ton of it here. We see it briefly when he's about to face off with Electro.
And then try to pause on the scene where he like has the bracelets, the golds. Yeah. So this is interesting for two reasons. One, he's facing away from Electro, and he's just kind of like looking up. That's kind of a weird pose. I don't know what that is about. Two, Electro is blue in the background. And then it makes me wonder if, like, Doc Ock, he first shows up, his arms are silver. Later in the trailer, they're red. First, we see Green Goblin show up as the Willem Dafoe. Later, it's possibly a different one, possibly just a new MCU-ified version. So I wonder if, like, when these villains first arrive in the universe, they look like their previous universe counterparts and then just slowly transform into what they would look like in this universe as they become more permanent fixtures in it. I don't know. That sounds really complicated, and would honestly be kind of dumb if they did that, but
I mean,
could be. I don't know.
It wouldn't be the craziest thing to be proposed about this movie that ended up being the case. Kind of like Back to the Future-ifying in a little bit. Yeah. I do think that it is going to be more of an instantaneous switch. When they're in their universe, they're still their old selves. When they're in the MCU, they're going to be a little bit different.
Do you think we're going to see them in their previous universes? Or do you think they're just going to show up?
They're probably...
I think they're just going to show up. I think we just see them suddenly.
Yeah, I think they're probably just going to show up. I think that's most likely. They're just going to show up. It would be really neat to get some flashbacks, and their backstories will probably be mentioned at some point. But yeah, most likely they'll probably just show up. Yeah.
Yeah. But this suit, can you go back to the suit? Yeah. So I don't think Doctor Strange could put together a full latex, electrical engineered Spider-Man suit that just happens to have magical stuff in it. I feel like this might be Peter returning to Happy. I think this could be a suit designed to handle higher voltage. And it's like it is a suit that he designed with Happy in maybe he returns to the jet or something, and it's needs the new suit, and then the magic stuff just happens to be something else that Doctor Strange gave him. It's weird though, because it's something that shows up on the gauntlet, and the rings kind of move through his arm, and then it leaves like this kind of orange gauntlet on him.
Yeah.
Which would that be like a kind of pseudo protection spell to like block stuff? Is that somehow useful
Or
in
it's like
capturing people?
Or it's like a mystical web slinger.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's like a. Oh, yeah, because Doctor Strange uses that like golden
Yeah.
web whip thing. So maybe
Yeah.
it's that. Maybe it's to imbue his webs with this kind of golden energy. So if he can like successfully web them up and trap them,
Exactly.
that's
yeah.
how he can put them in the Trapper Keeper.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that would make sense. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm still hung up on the Matt Murdock thing. I'm just saying, because as we've already established, there will be a winner crowned for the most correct theories and predictions for No Way Home, and you're saying no way. I'm saying, and so. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that he will be in this. It's not the prediction I'm most confident in, but I am not prepared to say there's no way. Like I said, I think the door is open for him. I could see it happening. I'm going to lay it out there. I could see it happening. Seems like, yeah. Is there any other big scenes here that we haven't really talked about?
I don't know. I feel like we've pretty much covered everything.
I mean, MJ, makes a great point. The ultimate magic word is always please.
Guarantee that'll actually come back at the end of the movie. Peter is going to be like on the ground, crushed. And It's going to be like, please. And
you know what?
And it's either going to be to Doctor Strange for him to help, or to one of the villains to like not kill him.
You're 100% right. That's definitely going to come back in the climax. I guarantee it.
Please. Also, I do want to see some action sequence where Peter's 4 mechanical arms are fighting Dr. Ock's 4 mechanical arms, and then Peter is like throwing fisticuffs with Doc Ock. Where every single limb is like engaged with a different limb.
Yeah, you have to be very careful that like that doesn't become like a Saturday morning cartoon. There's a thin line there between cool and just so ridiculous looking. I'm sure it'll be cool.
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th. Spider Monday.
Cool.
November
cool.
29th. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's not next Monday, but the following Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm marking my calendars. That's. Do not get sold out on opening weekend, folks. It's these tickets will go fast.
All right, and here's I think the last thing we have to address. What would you rate this trailer?
We started getting some visitors.
Well, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. And, once again, I've explained before, a 10 out of 10 for me does not mean it's a perfect trailer. It means that is a benchmark for that category.
Yeah.
And for me, this is a benchmark. This is a fantastic trailer. It took a movie that it's almost impossible for me to be more hyped for, and still made me a little bit more hyped. I mean, if that's not the mark of an excellent job putting a trailer together, that again, the expectations could not have been higher, and it still met them. that's the highest praise I could pay a trailer. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think I have to agree. I would give this a 10.
Hmm.
It looks so good.
It really does. I mean, it's I, I just you step back and think about it. Even a year ago, could anyone have predicted that we would be getting even 1/4, 1/10 of what this movie is turning out to have been? Like, it's insane, the ambition of this movie. Yeah, I mean, I think it is going to end up being the biggest movie of the year. I think the current. Let me look up what the current box office standing is.
You think it'll wait? No, because Spider-Man didn't beat Endgame, but the trailer got more views and more likes than the Endgame trailer, I believe.
Mm. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay, so right now, Shang-Chi has the crown for 2021 movies. That
Okay.
grossed $224 million. I think Spider-Man's going to beat that. I think it's going to
Yeah,
beat that, and
definitely. It's gonna
probably,
blow that out of the water.
yeah, probably by a pretty big margin. Of course,
I'm guessing over 500.
yes, yeah. I think that Spider-Man will gross at least that before the end of calendar year 2021, and obviously it will still make money after that because it'll probably play through January. But it will probably gross at least that just in its opening 2 weeks in theaters.
Do you
before...
think this movie could gross $1 billion over the course of its entire run? It's a lot. It is a lot, but also 500 million like before end of calendar year is.
So here's the thing, because this is just the domestic box office. If we go to international, do we have worldwide? Yeah, okay. So right now, the biggest worldwide movie for 2021 is The Battle at Lake Chenjin. I'm guessing that's a Chinese film. $882 million.
I think Spider-Man is big in China. I'm not sure. I mean, it could also be that China is just like, nope, fuck you. Because they did not show the Eternals. I don't know if they're just gonna ban all Disney stuff now, but
well, that's the thing is I have not heard about Spider-Man not playing in China. Of course, there's still a month, so things could change. But to the best of my knowledge, Spider-Man is slated to play in China.
yeah.
And it's tough. It's really tough. I think that obviously, if we were talking about pre-pandemic, yes, this would be $1 billion grosser, easy. But even though obviously we've come a long way since the pandemic started, we have vaccines now, things are mostly back to normal. Movies still aren't quite grossing what typically they would. So let me look up Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay. So worldwide, that grossed $1.1 billion.
Maybe this is the movie that'll finally get people going back to the big screen. It's definitely going to be the number one selling of.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be. Yeah, it's definitely going to be the biggest domestic movie, no doubt about that. Yeah, there's no argument there. It's going to be the biggest domestic movie. Do I think it will make north of $882 million? I think that
in its entire run, not
in
just
its entire run.
Yeah, not just in the calendar year. I feel like it could. It could.
I think it could beat that number slightly. slightly. And obviously, it has to play in China to do that.
Yeah.
But if it does play in China, I think it could slightly beat that number. Far From Home made 1.1 billion. I think that the pandemic still is keeping certain people away from theaters. You know, obviously most people are back and fine and everything's cool, but you know, some people are still wary, and you know, and other people have just gotten so used to watching movies at home they just don't feel the impetus to go to the theater anymore.
Well,
So,
this is a theaters only though.
but yeah, but you know, people, you know, they kind of gotten in the habit of it over the last, you know, year and a half. So, I think that everyone who would have shown up to this movie in a non-pandemic circumstance, I think you'll get about 8 to 9 out of 10 of those people to come to see this. So I think that it can beat 882 million.
I thought you were gonna say 8 or 9%, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
No.
it'll be lucky to break like 40 or 50 mil global.
This movie made $4.
Yeah, we did lose some money on the back end, but you know, hey, that's okay. Yeah, I think that like 9 out of 10 people, that's what I'll say, 9 out of 10 people who would have seen this movie pre-pandemic will show up to see it now. I think that is enough to make it the #1 worldwide box office leader.
If the previous Spider-Man got, you know, 1 billion, then that's 900 million.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I think that if it plays in China, it can just edge out Battle at Lake Changjin.
Yeah.
To become the #1 movie globally. Hi Mom. I've never heard of Hi Mom. What is Hi Mom?
I have no idea. Probably a Korean film.
Another maybe
Chinese?
Korean or Chinese film. That's the thing, is that the Chinese domestic box office is massive. Like, you know, there are movies that you have never heard of that are making like, you know, like doing these numbers. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, definitely #1 domestic, no doubt about that. Yeah, like I said, Shang-Chi did 224 total. Spider-Man's gonna do that before New Year's. I really, yeah. 10 out of 10 trailer, fantastic, loved it, so excited. And honestly, I mean, it just caps off a hell of a year for Marvel in 2021. Like, you know, setting up Phase 4 and getting that started was a tall order, and obviously, you know, this movie is kind of the capstone to this, and Hawkeye are kind of the capstones to it, so we can't do a full retrospective yet. But I mean, it's been a hell of a year, and you know, it's been the experiences we've gotten across Disney Plus and the 4 movies are definitely varied, but they're all good, and you know, they all, I think, really have set the table for just, you know, the MCU is evolving, and we talked about this during our Eternals review. The MCU is evolving at such a pace now where, you know, it's just, you know, the realms that we're going into are crazy. You know, like it's just absolutely crazy. So I feel like, look, I think Hawkeye's going to be good. I think this is obviously going to be awesome. I think that this has been a very successful start to Phase 4 in 2021. It was Marvel trying to do more faster than they've ever done before. 4, 5 big series, 4 movies. I think they've pulled it off. I think they are pulling it off and will have pulled it off. And this will be just a capstone and an exclamation point to everything we've seen from Marvel this year.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Where my life has felt normal.
I mean, it's just,
Beautiful. Gorgeous.
Yeah, we're just rewatching the trailer at this point because it's so fantastic. How about an encore viewing?
Get the Peter Parker Spider-Man. We started getting some visitors. From every universe.
Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker. Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
I
Dr.
noticed
Otto
something new.
Octavius.
When Peter gets slammed in the go back like a few more seconds. Yeah, so right there you can see his chest portion.
Mm.
He's missing. You can see like his shirt and jacket exposed, and the tie is like drooping over his face.
Yeah.
He's lost. Yeah, and so I think Doc Ock was somehow took control of some of the nanobots because
Yeah.
you can see them coating the arm there,
Yeah.
and I think that's why his head like drapes down to cover the chest and protect it before he gets hit.
Yeah, and I mean, it's even the arm seems like it even has some red and yellow accents.
Yeah,
here,
it's
you
the
know,
red,
the
red,
Iron
and,
Man colors.
yeah, it's the red and
colors.
gold. So
Yeah,
I think the arms were somehow able to take the nanobots off.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Don't know how that's gonna be explained,
You're
but
not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual
I,
name?
I love the.
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby Doo this crap.
You know, all this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby Doo this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
Epic.
What's happening?
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th. Spider Monday.
I'm so hyped.
Absolutely epic.
I'm so hyped.
Absolutely epic. So that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many ways we could say we couldn't be more excited for this movie. It's gonna be, it's gonna be everything. Well, Reid, any last thoughts?
I can't wait. This is gonna be fun.
Absolutely. That's a hell of an understatement.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, thank you so much, as always, for joining us for this very special edition of Observation Reactions. And thank you for spending your Thanksgiving with us. We really appreciate it. And we're happy to be able to share this little bit of content with you on a special day. Hopefully you're able to enjoy some good food with the people you care about. And, of course, we will speak to you again very soon with some more content. Maybe not even Marvel related. Who knows? Anything's possible.
Yeah.
You know, we still have the capacity to surprise. All right. Well, thank you
for
so much,
watching.
everybody. And we will speak to you again soon. Goodbye.
Good night.